welcome to tonight's episode of Hey Sister. Hey sister, how you doing?
Hey sister, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Ciao. Actually, I'm doing well. I'm still coming down off my conference high. Oh Lord, I got our name looking wrong. Oh, Jesus have mercy. And a little tired as well, but we are here. Hey. So if it's Sunday, y'all know it's Hey Sister. We got things to talk about all the time. We talk about things all the time. But join the conversation in the comments and like, follow, share, subscribe. Tell folks that you are tuning in to Hey Sister and you are getting involved in the conversation. Where you want to start tonight? So many things. Let's start on a light topic, just like
Okay.
nothing too crazy, lighthearted. Let's talk about Queen Charlotte.
Queen Charlotte, is that where you started? We're not going to start with spring into leadership?
No, let's go. We can end with spring into leadership because
Okay.
we're going to talk about living and living our best life at the end. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
So let's talk about Queen Charlotte. So, as a part of the Bridgerton series, there's this prequel story about Queen Charlotte, a backstory. So obviously it is not a part of the book series. It's not a part of the normal programming, but it's a storytelling, and that's what I do love. Like,
Yes.
Oh well, what must this have been like, right, for this person? So I think that it's done a very, very interesting job in kind of creating this story about Queen Charlotte, and I'm of the mindset of Joy Behar. Bridgerton's getting to the point where it's just softcore porn. Okay? I mean,
not that we've ever seen softcore porn, but
yeah. I mean, if you watched Cinemax back in the day, you saw some softcore porn. Or Showtime at night.
By the way, I'm so confused. So is HBO, because HBO and Cinemax used to be separate. Now, then they combined to
HBO always owned Cinemax.
Right, but then they were two separate channels when they were in the cable network universe. Then HBO, then they combined, and then HBO Max, and now they're telling me it's just going to be Max, but is that including HBO, or did HBO jumping back out? I'm confused. I'm
confused. Ain't got nothing to do with Queen Charlotte, though.
No.
But what are your thoughts on Queen Charlotte?
I thought Queen Charlotte, well, number one, I do agree. I think that there are some scenes, well, I guess that's starting with not the great part, but there are just some scenes that I don't think we have to see all of the sex acts. I'm just like, at the end of the day, we get it. They're having sex. She had 15 children in real life. Clearly. They had sex. But I do think that
more than once too.
Right. I think it's a good show. I think I'm just watching you. No, ma'am. Start again.
Finish talking.
I think that of the entire Bridgerton series that I've watched, obviously I've never read any of the books. As about what I've watched, I think this obviously is supposed to be the most. I would think this is the most closely aligned to an actual historical representation, if you will, than the other Bridgertons, which makes it interesting because at least makes it more interesting from that perspective.
Because we can actually go research Queen Charlotte and King George. Yeah.
And look at her pictures.
And if you watched Hamilton, you knew King George was the Mad King anyway.
Sure. Yes. I mean,
you didn't know that? You forgot that?
My experience with Hamilton was not like everyone else's. It was just okay to me. But yes, that's fine. He was the Mad King. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I love Shonda Rhimes. And so pretty much there's not anything that Shonda Rhimes is going to do that I'm going to say is not great. So I love Shonda Rhimes. I think that this is, like I said, there's aspects of the story that you can actually go and research. Like King George being the Mad King. I think, and it's a more it's a closer representation to some of the things that I guess topics on race and what is whiteness and what is blackness and you know, the royals and how people get treated when their quote unquote bloodline is not necessarily pure. But then again, let's be honest about what all that means anyway. It's kind of foolish. So yeah, it was entertaining. You said something last night that, you know, the end left you, it was wanting. And your daughter said, well, what did you want? What did you want? And so I wanted to elaborate on that. What did you want?
I just think that, you know, I mean, ultimately, it fulfilled the storyline about the. I'm sorry, the door. I'm sorry, I left the door open. It fulfilled the storyline about them, the needing of an heir, right? And what I thought was brilliant was that they launched this series the same weekend in which King Charles' coronation, because it's that same family line, right? So I thought that was interesting.
And that she's Queen Charlotte, and we know the whole Meghan Markle and how she's been treated differently,
and how and Harry wrote his book The Spare, because there's definitely that pressure of having an heir and a spare. So I think it, you know, it concluded that story. But there was a piece and a part when they talked about, you know, you were not a good mother, right? You were the queen, and everybody's here has been in service to the king. And the king got issues, and he crazy, and we all live in this fallacy. I think that could have been explored more deeply. You know what I mean? Okay. So that's just me.
I mean, yeah, I thought it was very clear why they felt like she wasn't a good mother, because she spent so much time trying to, when she wasn't trying to make up for her husband's shortcomings, she was trying to get her children to give her an heir, because they thought that they could fix the bloodline through this way. So I thought that was already kind of explored.
Sorrow's prayers. That's how she did.
Because that was that was making a mockery of what we do in this society.
It was,
now.
Yeah.
So I thought that was that's where it comes from. Everybody got thoughts and prayers, but not real action.
Not action in sight.
But anyway, that's my take on Queen Charlotte. I actually thought the end was a beautiful moment as they reflected on their youth, because as we know, when you are in relationship with anyone, as you all get older and you have the time, and you know, time passes, you see you see your spouses, your friends, you see them in different light. And I thought it was a beautiful moment how they just kind of concluded it with them kind of revisiting their youth before the crazy took place. So
yeah. Anyway.
Hey Lakeisha.
Hey Lakeisha, how you doing, girl? Just learned it was even a show today, girl. Okay, yes, it's a show.
Beautiful picture, by the way.
Yes, it's a show.
And congratulations to your TSU for bringing Oprah
back
Queen
home.
Oprah.
Yeah, Queen Oprah went back home to the Tennessee State University, down to the graduation.
Yeah.
And blessing the people with her presence. And she seemed to be in her element as well. I thought that was a beautiful thing. Yeah. And that they named, I guess at the news station that she first worked at in Nashville, they named the conference room after her, which I thought that was actually very beautiful as well. And it's amazing. Once again, like we had this conversation really briefly. Once again, it is amazing what HBCUs produce.
Yes.
Once again, it is amazing
Who they help produce.
who they produce and help produce. And so, seeing Oprah, I think is wonderful. Seeing Fantasia Barrino, who was derided for her struggles with reading, enrolling at, I think it's North Carolina Central State University. Seeing J.R. Smith, who went from high school to the NBA, who's now back in college at North Carolina A&T, and talking about his learning differences and the support that he needed, that he actually gets at this HBCU, knowing that HBCUs, as when we had our Sarah on from UNCF, always punch above their weight class.
Absolutely.
Always bring people way above. If you are the number one driver into the middle class for Black Americans, or those who identify as Black Americans, is an HBCU education. So as we're in this graduation season,
yes,
we're also into the announcement season. I've seen lots of announcements come across my timeline. It was Decision Day on Monday, May 1st. And I just want to say shout out once again to all the HBCUs, because you keep doing it, and doing it well. Hi.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw on Sora Katina Simeon's page as well. She had a post with Dion Cole, who I did not know was an alum of Philander Smith College. So I am constantly impressed. We'll get to your conference here in a bit. But again, the 4 women who were physicians that were sitting on the stage, who are all graduates of Xavier University of Louisiana. I don't know. I'm biased. I'll say it. I think that if you ever have an opportunity to go to college and go to undergraduate school, and you are, you identify as being Black, you consider yourself Black, I say go to an HBCU. Why not? You mentioned J.R. Smith, just like Chris Paul. I mean, albeit I would love to see him. He has been doing a lot of things for HBCU, so I don't want to get it twisted like in that regard. And he's now a graduate of, what did I tell you? Geez, it just slipped through my Winston-Salem. Yes, I was like, I know it's in North Carolina. But, he actually, he played at North Carolina. And so it's like, I want to be able to see those sort of programs have the same uplift. But yeah, I mean, I don't, there is no area of expertise, no profession, no place where you haven't seen HBCU graduates excel. You can't tell me, because I ain't synced it. And I said synced it on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, we've synced it, but
no, I have not seen any place where HBCU graduates haven't excelled. I have not seen any profession that HBCU graduates haven't excelled. No, I have not.
Okay.
Science, engineering, technology, mathematics, entertainment, sports. I have arts. I haven't seen an area where we have not excelled.
Politics.
Yeah, I haven't seen an area. Okay.
That is. Shout out to the HBCUs. All right. So I want to talk about this, the common denominator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we were like, you used to have to solve for the common denominator.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So mental health, criminal, law-abiding citizen. When there is a mass shooting, regardless of who is the perpetrator, there is a common denominator. And in these United States, that common denominator is automatic weapons. That common denominator right now is the AR-15 or similar type of weaponry. The common denominator. So when you solve for the common denominator, the cause doesn't even matter. What drove the situation don't even matter, because there is a common denominator that leads to over 200 mass shootings in less than 180 days. In these United States of America, there is a common denominator, and we should be tired and exhausted of dealing with this common denominator. So we need to solve for the common denominator and stop pussyfooting around and stop allowing these gerrymandered congressional districts and stop allowing these empty Soros prayers pass by and accept it as enough when shopping malls, churches, schools, movie theaters in your neighborhood, because I say, excuse me, can you stop shooting your gun outside, like just out on GP because my baby is trying to sleep, and they walk in and shoot all the people up? There's a common denominator. And so whether you have no social emotional control, whether you're not because most of them are law abiding until they're not. So that whole thing about law abiding gun owner is some law abiding citizen. You're all law abiding until you're not. So when we have no social emotional control, we have no emotional regulation, we have no ability to even put things in its proper perspective, when we can't even make common errors like knock on the wrong door, go to the wrong car, or try to just turn around in the driveway because we got lost along the way, because a common denominator means my life would be lost. We got a problem. And we don't want to solve for it. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I don't know, sis. What about what do you think about you a math person?
I am a math person.
You had to solve for what?
The
common denominator.
I did. You know, I'm just of the belief that I don't like when, again, people piss on my leg and call it rain. I just don't like that. And we don't want to just have a real open and honest conversation, dialogue, and again, take action on anything that we just keep seeing these things happen every day. Mm-hmm. And it's clearly every day because we have more mass shootings than we had days. So it's literally, not even figuratively, every day we see this happening, whether it's reported on or not. And it just does not feel like we have, because there has to be something else at play here. We know there are other things at play, but there must be something else at play, because we know more police doesn't reduce crime. We know more jails and more and stricter jail sentences don't reduce crime. We know that
because they're not the common denominator.
And we know that, and mental illness is a real thing in this society, but in theory, many of us have some form of mental illness, and that is not what necessarily makes you go out and say, I'm going to take somebody's life. But to your point about the common denominator, when you know you have access to guns in general, but specifically guns that were made for the sole purpose of causing mass casualties, are getting in the hands so quickly, so easily of common citizens, common law-abiding citizens. It just seems that you could just change the policies so that those, because if I were the law-abiding Second Amendment believing registered gun owner, I would personally be offended that all these folks who ain't of my ilk keep committing these crimes and making me and my peeps look bad. I would think that would be cause for those who are doing it the right way to say, hold up. Stop putting us in the same boat with the ones who aren't doing it the right way. but they don't even seem to be offended by the fact that people are sullying their names.
Mhm.
So I don't know what the I know what the answer is. The answer is look around. Nobody else has the type of issues with guns that this country has. And so it would be very easy, in my opinion, to start taking into consideration, how do we roll back some of these poor decisions that were made.
So I'm gonna say this. And Keisha, points up something now, because they just passed this crap here. It's already happening in Texas, so ain't no surprise or secret that Texas is having it pop off every day. Do like that.
Sorry,
we're all leaning out the frame.
I am.
It's popping off every day.
Well, again, we know statistically, talking about the common denominator. The common denominator is states that have looser gun laws also have higher incidences of gun violence. Like, if you allow any and everybody to carry a gun, and it's harder to get a driver's license than it is to get a gun license.
Because at this point, why do we even get a driver's license?
Right. Might as well let babies go out there.
Right. Because we let them get a gun, so why not just let them go drive a car? Right? I mean, it's so illogical. If I go get my nails done, that person has to be licensed. I can look them up on the state of Florida and see that they have been licensed, had a certain number of hours of credentialing.
And they have to keep going
back. Continuing education for my hair. Even those of us who drive, I've been driving since I was 15 years old. I had to renew my license more than one time.
Right.
Multiple times. And we just say,
it is harder now to vote.
It's harder now, yes. But anybody can go get any type of weapon and have any amount of ammunition. That's not for hunting or sport.
Right.
I mean, we grew up, we from the country. They hunt. So it's not like, I'm like, you shouldn't hunt.
But here's the thing. If for all the people who are always talking about, oh, it's for those purposes, right? We know it's not for those purposes. The second they told you, you know what? Since you hunt your own meat, you are no longer allowed to go to the grocery store. Go hunt all your meat. Like, if that actually had to be the criteria for you owning certain weapons,
but nobody,
then you wouldn't even want to own the weapons, because then you would be like,
but nobody who's hunting is
using an AR-15
to hunt.
Right.
They're not using 100 rounds.
No, we know that.
Because you have to be a good ass marksman. You have to know what the hell you're doing.
But I'm saying people like to make these false equivalents to being able to being about lifestyle or heritage or hunting and fishing, and we like to go out and shoot our guns because it's a part of our culture. Like, people like to make these false equivalents, again, with the whole we're law-abiding citizens, so why can't I have a room full of guns? And if you're using as your rationale that it's because you have to go hunt. If you actually had to go hunt, you would not even want to. You'd be like, I ain't getting. Yeah, you definitely would mess up the meat. I'm just making a point, is if people who make these type of arguments, if they were actually called to the carpet, like, well, when's the last time you went hunting? How often do you hunt for your meat?
Well, I have friends who hunt.
Yes.
Like, I have friends who hunt with guns. They hunt bow and arrow. They hunt. So I get the hunting.
Well, if you were going with a bow and arrow, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I know people that do that.
I mean, I watch swamp people.
They have to have. We talked to one of my friends the other day. He's a hunter
with a bow and arrow, I'm sure.
He does all of that. So, I get that, but nonetheless, he also has some training in how to shoot guns,
Oh,
and how
yeah.
to shoot weapons, and how to do all
I mean,
of
I
the
have
things.
a friend with an AR-15 and also has training in all of that. I also know people who are military trained and they can shoot those guns, but they're not the ones that my point is, they're not the ones making excuses for why they have to have a treasure trove of guns, or they're not making excuses and saying guns don't kill people, people kill people, or they're not making.
But the common denominator is the gun.
Yeah.
So if you tired like I am, it's time for us to write, call, and fight for sanity. We need, like I said, if you don't want someone driving a vehicle, it's bad enough we do have people who drive vehicles without license and suspended license, and they have had multiple DUIs and that and the other. But they have some laws that restrict their actions. We need some laws that restrict these actions. We need some laws that restrict, because for me, I'm like, yeah, those who like to go and just shoot up guns, they go to shooting ranges.
So again, that's my point. When people make the argument, our politicians make the argument for the responsible gun owner. All the responsible gun owners I know don't make those arguments. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I am tired of people who you're speaking for the responsible gun owners don't make those arguments, because they actually are responsible and they know that some of these laws that we're putting out there are foolish. And if we want to tell the truth and shame the devil, we're putting it out there because the hope is, I guess I shouldn't say this. It feels to me like the hope is, with the browning of this country, with the shifts in demographics, it seems to me that those who are in power want to stay in power, and they are going to continue to make these laws because the hope is they can continue to destroy people that they deem undesirable. That's what it seems like to me.
And that never works.
But I don't know why else, when you see babies being slaughtered, some that even look like your own children, how does that not change you? I don't know.
I don't know either, sister. Oh, child, a common denominator. What else you want to talk about?
Well, someone had a birthday.
Oh, Lord. Do the Jubilee. I should have my music queued up.
I'm sure you can find it.
Oh, I gotta search real fast, but I ain't got time.
Somebody had a birthday on Friday. On the 5-5, she became the 5-0.
I'm dancing. Hey.
Wait, let me find you.
Come on. Hey, you gotta hold it up. Let's see. Before we shift into that mode, Jaime said the victims in Texas were dehumanized by the political establishment who refused to name them when it first occurred due to their immigration status.
Right.
I'm not sure they were considered people.
And that, yes. So thank you, Jaime, for that comment. And that is the part. I was just having a conversation as we were driving home here to get on Hey Sister, talking about how during enslavement, the number of women who had been raped. And I don't understand how people could convince themselves that these women were property and with whom they could do whatever they want. It's like, you know that this is a human being because you have the ability to procreate with the person, and many people did. And so in the same way, it is bananas to me that on Cinco de Mayo, we try to go eat at a restaurant and it's full on festival going on. But because people's immigration status, they were killed, you don't even put their name to to the tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
You do not see them as people, but you're the first one at the Cinco de Mayo party. That makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
It is hurtful and it's harmful when we look at people and don't, I keep going back to it, don't see the God in them, don't see the divinity in them.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who is trying to come to this country, for those of us who have the fortune of living here and having had lived here all of our lives, I strongly believe anyone who is trying to come to this country, they are not just doing it because they woke up one morning and say, you know what, I think I want to risk life and limb to get to the United States. They weighed the pros and cons of their situation and determined that it was worth them risking their lives for what they perceive as freedom than to not.
Or better opportunity.
Or a better opportunity than to not. And so for them to then get to a state like Texas that used to be a part of Mexico and to be treated as though they are less than after they suffer such a terrible fate, it is so problematic for me. So thank you, Jaime, for bringing that up.
Yeah. And I'll say this. You really want to be provocative. If we stop using, let me even talk about it, because there is a connection between the drug use in the United States of America and the cartel crime in these countries in which those people are fleeing,
right,
because they don't feel safe and protected. Because of the drug problem in America, we fueling the wars that their children are being recruited into gangs, and those mothers like, I don't want my baby to have this type of life or this type of faith, and I'm gonna flee. I'm gonna just say that. If we're gonna tell the truth, shame the devil.
And we did not talk all that much about Snowfall, I don't believe, because you did not finish Snowfall.
I did not finish Snowfall, but it's a part of it.
But that is exactly what was discussed in Snowfall, obviously. And it was a crack epidemic before. And again, when most of the people who were using crack were melanated, it was okay to destroy them. But now that we have a new crisis and everybody doesn't look a certain way, then we want to continue to destroy other people and allow things to happen in places. And then when people decide, like you said, that they are going to risk life and limb for their children to have a better life. I mean, if that ain't love, I don't know what is.
Amen.
But nonetheless.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to
the Jubilee birthday. Hold on, guys.
She's still late. She's still late. She's still late. Anyway, on Friday, I reached my 5th decade. I am looking forward to enjoying each and every moment this year. Y'all don't know about that Jubilee, y'all. Why are you laughing? The Jubilee, y'all. We made that hit. Hey. Okay, stop.
We ain't got a microphone for the first.
Anyway.
People probably can't
even know what we're doing. Anyway. So, Jubilee is a celebration. It is a milestone celebration, and it is an amazing experience. As I shared with folks, several months back, we did this Sunday school lesson on, the Sabbath, and the 7th is the Sabbath. They have the 7th day, keep it holy. That's the Sabbath day. We have our Sabbath year, which is every 7 years. Supposed to be. And so,
and the term sabbatical.
The term sabbatical comes from Sabbath. That's when you actually take off, because in your Sabbath year, you're supposed to take off. You're supposed to let your land rest. You're supposed to not do nothing, because then you get to your Jubilee year, and that's when all celebrations.
So 7 sevens.
7 sevens, yes.
That you do your 7 years.
Yes,
So 7 times 7
7
is
is
49.
49.
And then the following year is your Jubilee year, when you're 50.
50. Woo! So yeah. So I've been this again. I was like, oh wow, I've been doing something wrong.
Well, we didn't know. We
didn't
were
know.
supposed to be every 7 years.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be taking a year off anyway.
Yes.
Didn't nobody say nothing.
So, but I will say that I do remember like yesterday celebrating 40.
Yes, we were in Napa.
And yeah, we went to Napa. I remember doing something here at the house, gathering friends. And one of them, Renee Johnson, she said to me, life begins at 40. And I believe that. And I'm like, okay, what happened to this decade? Because I think you still are so busy doing the stuff and the things that you don't really slow down enough to appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And so in this Jubilee birthday and this Jubilee year, my plan is to enjoy it, to slow down enough and embrace the moment and live for the moment. We spend the majority of our time thinking about, bemoaning the past and thinking about the future, instead of just being here and now. And so my goal is to be in the here and now and enjoy it, relish it, and hopefully be an example and a light to others about how it can look. Because, I've been told I don't quite look 50. So, I don't know what you think, sister, but I'm going to keep this thing together. I got my little do all the stuff to keep this thing right and tight and hold it together. Child, somebody told me I look like Beyonce the other day, and I was like, stop playing with me, girl. I do not look like no Beyonce. And then they were like, well,
I don't know what the no ma'am you don't.
I don't look 50 is what she said. No ma'am, you don't look 50.
I didn't know it was no ma'am you don't look like Beyonce.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's no ma'am I don't. But anyway, as she said, no, you don't, sis. Looking great. Yeah, thank you. But it was funny because she was like, well, your mama looked like Tina Knowles, so why can't you be Beyonce? I was like, girl, you is absolutely right, because my mama has heard that many, many times that she looks like Mama Tina. So why can't I be Beyonce? I mean, we all from Louisiana.
I do not look like Solange.
With these braids, or you might.
I don't look like Solange. We're clear about that. But what I will say is, if you invest in the same things that Beyonce has invested in, you would look like her. I mean, you would. But that ain't what you're going for.
That ain't what I'm
You looking like Kenny.
I'm looking like Demetria.
But no, I get it. I mean, you do. I mean, like, so in the general sense of the word, yes, you do look like her in that you all have similar characteristics.
Thank you, boo.
But in terms of, you also, again, as the doctor in Alabama, I can't remember the brother's name. I was looking at his page. It said, Beyonce wasn't built in a day. But no, this is no hate, no shade. Don't come after me, Beehive. Because I watched the Netflix. No, that was on
Amazon Prime. The Swarm. Yes.
Was it on Amazon Prime?
Amazon Prime.
Yeah. I watched The Swarm. Please don't send the serial killer out. But I think that first of all, I think you look fabulous.
Thank you, sister.
And I think that, considering that, we did grow up in Louisiana, and Louisiana has great cooks and great food and not a whole lot of options for exercise and things of that nature. It could be very challenging, and So I think we're doing all right. We're
Mhm.
doing all right in terms of drinking our water and minding our business, except for when we come on Hey Sister, and then we might be minding a few other businesses.
And speaking of minding business, so y'all know it was my birthday on Friday. My Jubilee birthday. And there's a lot of wonderful people born in May. It is Taurus season, and I am here for it. My friend Maida Kelly, it's her birthday today.
Oh,
yes,
I didn't know that.
Yes, Maida Bradley Brown.
Right.
Her birthday is today.
Oh, happy birthday, Maida.
Hey, Maida. I saw that our friend Tita is her mom's birthday.
Yes. Labora's mom's birthday.
Labora's mom's birthday was yesterday. So I got all these amazing women who birthdays in this month. I got some more wonderful friends whose birthdays are coming up. Nina's birthday, my cousin Alessandria. I got Alessandria. Yes. It's a little slight.
Jody's mama.
Yeah, Jody's mom's on the 19th. My auntie Wolverine is on the 14th. So all these amazing women also are born in May who are bulls and can be bullish. But one of the things that I'm going to really be conscientious about, I'm continuing to work on, as I said, is practicing more empathy, not just with myself, but with others, and kind of keep that bull in line, and that bull is a force for positive and good and not always wrecking shop. You know?
Amen.
How about that?
I like it.
Hallelujah.
But you were going.
But I was going somewhere because someone named Christopher Brown. I don't know. What's his name, Christopher?
Yes, it is.
What is wrong with Chris Brown, y'all?
What's his middle name? Because I got to give the whole government.
What is wrong with Chris Brown? Usher trying to celebrate your
Christopher Maurice Brown.
Christopher Maurice Brown. What is wrong with Chris Brown? Do y'all know? Because can you tell me? Because I don't know. Sister, tell the people what happened.
Well, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I wasn't invited to the party, but apparently Usher gave Chris Brown a birthday party, and allegedly, according to TMZ, Chris Brown may have may have had a little bit too much to drink and had chosen this as the time to confront one Miss Tiana Taylor. This is all alleged. I don't know. This
allegedly
what the people say.
Watch the video for yourself, but TMZ usually don't be missing too much.
And allegedly, his issue with Tiana Taylor stems from the fact that his AMA performance, if you all remember, he was supposed to do a tribute to Michael Jackson at the AMAs, and it got cut. And allegedly, I guess he feels like because Tiana Taylor had something to do with that production, I don't know. I guess he had some problems with her. And so, but today the Lovers and Friends festival went on. Chris Brown went on stage. Usher went on stage. Chris Brown has not seemingly addressed the comments. Now they're saying after the Lovers and Friends concert, after Chris Brown's performance, that he supposedly got into a heated argument with somebody else. I don't know. What I do know, however, is my brother. Let me just say this. I have been, I think he's an incredibly talented young man. And the things, and especially as we always talk about Dr. Alana and the work that she does in terms of trauma, I don't feel like we should be judged on our worst day for the rest of our lives, right? I do not believe that. And at 19 years old, there was an unfortunate incident that took place. And I'm sure there's 19-year-olds across this country who've had similar situations, but we don't know about them because they're not a pop artist or pop star, and they're not dating a pop star. Years later, though, fast forward, now Mr. Brown also made 34 years old on 5/5. And so the expectation, my brother, is that you are now tapping into that prefrontal cortex. You are now learning and growing. And you're in a position, you are now financially in a position to get some help for your trauma and to heal.
Mm-hmm.
At least work towards your healing. So we can't be mad, because if you all remember, he was booed when he won for the American Music Awards. We can't be mad that people are getting upset with your behavior if you keep exhibiting the same behavior.
Baby, get some help.
Yeah.
Get some help. That's the best I can say. Baby, get some help. You deserve it. And you deserve to have a life free of foolishness. Unfortunately, many think that that's their only way to be keeping it real or whatever it is. That's the only way. Being myself.
No, he was inebriated. I don't even think it's that. I think you clearly have a substance abuse problem. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. It seems apparent to me. Whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, are both.
But again, I don't even know if it's a substance. I don't even know if it's that. I think that it's again, I have no tools, mechanism for when I feel any slight grievance that I can even say, you know what, I even can wait. Like Keisha said, he has too much to lose to continue acting like his own. I don't even think he is having any emotional tools to say, let me stop because I got too much to lose. This is not even worth it. Like, what is this really about?
Because I think, again, his traumas are so compounded that he thinks that, as many people do, that they can heal it or at least temper it through.
But I gotta tell you because I'm gonna make you.
Right.
Like it's like this trying to make you surrender to.
Well, here's the thing. Now, I will say this. As far as women are concerned, you shouldn't just never approach a woman at this point, because along with Rihanna, along with the Karrueche Tran stuff, and now for this to be Teyana Taylor. And like I said, I don't know all the details. That's according to TMZ. But that is a grown woman who's married with 2 children. Now, if Iman had rolled up on you,
and he might,
because you might be 6'1", but Iman is about 6'8", at least. Could be a little taller. Iman look like he might go to the gym regularly. And I don't know why you would roll up on this woman and feel like at that exact time you had a birthday party. It's your birthday party.
It's your birthday party.
Having fun.
How about that?
Why did you? And then you gonna ask Usher to make that girl leave? Why would Usher do that? What? Usher is grown with buku churn and out here in Vegas with a whole residency. He know how to get his paper. Why am I gonna make her leave? She could be the conduit for my next big thing. I don't know.
She probably is the choreographer of his whole stage show.
Possibly be. I don't know.
Could be.
Or she could just be a fellow person in the industry. Yeah. I'm not going to ask her to leave. I'm going to ask you to calm down. And then you want to roll up on Usher? Because he asking you to chill out.
And we ain't doing that, boo.
And he's trying to help you get to that level of you don't have to, everything is not a reaction.
But everything is not, everybody is not, it's not a grief. It's not, everything is not a grief. It's not a grievance. Everything, it doesn't have to be a grievance. Everything ain't about you. It was your birthday, it was a celebration. And instead of being in the moment and celebrating and just enjoying, you have to go set the record straight.
And who are these ragamuffins? I'm sorry. Who you
with?
such that not one of those young men could have said, "Now hold on, Chris.
Bruh.
Slow down now. We gonna jump on the dude who having the party. We gonna jump on the dude who the next day we gonna perform at the festival that he started, or at least has some controlling entity. Why is we messing up your bag? Cause you know the ones that's hanging around you ain't working. So they relying on your bag. Why are you messing it up for all of us? Ain't none of them thought to say that.
Not one. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. That's all I can say. Jesus.
So y'all
Jesus,
get Chris.
Jesus.
Go check up on him.
Stop it, young man. We want you to win, just like Mystical. We want y'all to win, but y'all keep
Not winning.
not winning. Gosh, for some people, it's true. You can take the person out the hood, but not the hood out the person. Tis Chris Brown. Christopher Maurice Brown. I don't even know if it was hood. Like I said, that baby.
I don't even know if it's hood, Lakeisha, because sometimes people create these fantasies in their mind about their upbringing and how
hard it was.
And,
I mean, at 16, he was like internationally traveling the world as a pop star.
Right.
At 16.
And I know there were some things there, but it's plenty of people. Like, I think about y'all, if y'all ever checked out Lil Lloyd's Unsung. I know Unsung ain't been on for real, but it's on the app. And I was like, this baby's his mama and daddy met at the Xavier, up at the Xavier. And this young man's father was murdered when he was like 2 years old. And it's like, they got people who have trauma. Like, don't be creating trauma for yourself if you don't have that.
Ooh, child. Ooh, child.
Okay, it's time. We got to talk about spring into leadership.
Okay. Spring into leadership for 2023 is a wrap. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, sister. Okay, so this year was my 7th annual Spring into Leadership Women's Conference.
If you attended any Spring into Leadership, get up in the comments. Let us know your thoughts and your feelings, your emotions, what your key takeaways are. We saw Amanda. Amanda was one of the panelists. Listen,
I love you, Amanda.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Talk about personifying strength, resilience, beauty, grace under fire. Girl, take Chris Brown up under your wing and help him, because I'm talking.
Teach him to soar, Amanda. He need all of your skills. Right. Okay.
I'm looking at this sister like, how is she still standing? Mm-hmm. And she ain't just standing, like she's soaring. Mm-hmm. She's flying. She is. So, yes, spring into leadership. First of all, sister, I am super proud of you. It's 7 years. Again, we just were talking about the Jubilee, the sabbatical, the Sabbath, every 7th year. This was the 7th year. 7, again, completion, perfection. I think that anybody who was in attendance will say that, there are so many things that they could take away from it. I'm just going to tell y'all, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to encourage you to tell a friend. If you are a woman, if you are a man, I don't care. You need to attend the Spring into Leadership Women's Conference at least once. Preferably more than once, but at least once. And here's the reason why. You like how we are on Hey Sister. Thank y'all. We love you. But I have attended women's conferences in different walks of life and still don't feel included. I've attended women's conferences and still feel like I'm on the periphery. I've attended women's conferences and still don't feel like I can go up and have genuine, deep conversations with speakers, with organizers. I've been to women's conferences, and even when there are women who look like me in the audience, I don't see them in the leadership roles. Yeah. That is not the case with Spring into Leadership. And I know that there are some men who will put themselves in a position to go to a women's conference. But if they're a white man in leadership, they'll be okay putting themselves in the position of going to a women's conference that is predominantly white women in leadership, right? But how often do you see white men in leadership put themselves in the spaces where not only are there not many men, there are not many white people. And I'm not saying, and we have white people who attend.
Yes.
Don't say that. There are white women who attend. I'm not saying that. But the conference was built for those of us who can't get that experience at the quote unquote mainstream conferences, that we do feel like we're on the periphery of the mainstream conferences. So if you just want to be, as the poem says, in a room full of sisters, I strongly encourage you attending this conference and getting fed. I posted today because our Sunday school lesson, the scripture about the thief comes to kill, to steal, kill, and destroy, that was a part of our Sunday school today. And that was a part of the conversation on financial freedom, that debt is like that thief. I think it was kills your budget, steals. I'm going to get it wrong. I have it in my notes though. I do have it in my notes. So it is just a wonderful place to be in a room with sisters who are like-minded, like experienced. And they can be, we had college students all the way up to
70-year-olds.
70-year-olds to VPs, like all the professional gamut entrepreneurs, corporate people. And the thing about it is, it does not matter where they are, what station they're in. They understand that the rules are just different for us. And sometimes it feels good to be around people who understand that, and you ain't got to explain that. Okay, you can talk about your conference now.
Well, what was one of your favorite
let me look at my notes.
Your key takeaways?
Well, so of course, my sister's best friend from growing up, Daria Milton Babineau, Dr. Daria Milton Babineau, was in attendance with her team, and she was also one of the panelists. And I hadn't seen Daria in many, many years. So number one, it warmed my heart to see her. I was really happy to see her. But I told her that one of the things that she talked about is that it is also her Jubilee year, that she turned 50 in January. And so now she's had a very thriving medical practice. And now she's kind of pulling back a little bit. She said she's just kind of enjoying this time for herself because she's done so much. She's a pediatrician. She does work on the border. So she does have a lot of patients, but a lot of patients with a lot of unique needs. And she is taking some time to step away to equip her staff and her team to run her practices so that she can and use this time and invest in herself. And one of the things that she said, which I really liked, was she said, I'm sitting in the moment waiting for the message. That stuck with me quite a bit because, you know, I'm in an industry where we're experiencing a lot of layoffs, a lot of changes happening, and I've been laid off before. And the last thing I want to do is to feel like I got caught with my pants down. Never am going to ever do that again. So even if I find myself in the layoff group or what have you, I want to sit in the moment and wait for the message. And for me, the message comes from the messenger. You believe what you want to believe, but that's what I believe. And so something else that struck me was, and they were people from our hometown. Let me tell you something. About the Thibodeau
girls.
Let me tell you about the Thibodeau. Y'all better go down to the Thibodeau because the Thibodeau produces, okay? It's in the water, okay? So attorney Karita Shanklin Walker spoke about her experiences as a breast cancer survivor. And the topic was called Live Your Blessed Life. So the theme overall was live. And this particular panel was Live Your Blessed Life. And what Karita said was, there were so many things that lined up for my healing. That was so beautiful for me. She says she can count 12 miracles that happen. So many things lined up for her healing. And that was also one of the things that I was like, yes, things, and it doesn't mean, and healing doesn't always come in the same way. But that was something that was beautiful for me. And then, of course, our girl Kimberly R. Stewart, Live Financial Freedom. Most heroes wear heels. I love that. But she talked about live this life, and live was an acronym, and she talked about leverage, insurance, velocity of money, and equity. And I ain't gonna steal it. I ain't gonna give you all the nuggets, because you got to come.
You gotta come, and then you're gonna have to buy the tape, because we will have it.
Yes.
My video production team will have it. It'll be available for download and for purchase. How about that?
Yes. So there's some of mine.
Man, all right. So we at our time. So I'm going to keep it brief. The theme was live. It's the 7th year. 7 represents perfection and completion. I think it was a perfectly complete conference experience, from the content, from the women who were in the room, for the messages that were delivered, and for the messages that were received. And so now, as we can shift to something greater, bigger, better, because now we're coming into a new season. Mm-hmm. And so I am looking forward to what 2024 has in store. That's it.
You better rhyme, because it's great, and it's going to be number 8 and 2024, and it's got what's in store. Okay.
All right. That's it. And so we want to thank y'all tonight for tuning in to Hey Sister. Y'all see we got this hair laid, and whenever you see Black women get their hair laid, like in these styles, like this flat twist and these braids, y'all know what that means. We going somewhere. See y'all later.
Good night.